I thought I'd end 2024 by looking at one of the biggest failures that I've ever had. So this would have been probably 20 years ago now. And as is often the case, my biggest failure came hot off the heels of a massive success. So I had quit the day job from hell and I was working for myself. That was my dream, was always to get out of the day job and just be my own boss, to have that freedom, to not be answerable to anyone else. I achieved that. However, then 12 months later, I was suddenly probably earning 10 times my salary that I'd been earning as a civil servant. And that false sense of bravado, ego, call it what you like, led me to believe that I was a genius, particularly when it came to internet marketing. So I was one of these .com whiz kids. That's how I saw myself. And so I went from me in my bedroom earning really good money on my own, bootstrapping my entire business and only needing about 18 grand a year to be very, very happy with my lifestyle, to chasing a need to earn £100,000 a month. So I was doing about 100k a year, and I thought, well, this guy over here is doing more than me. So how do I do that? So I figured out that, well, if I can earn 100k a year, then 10 people like me, that would be £1 million a year. Obviously makes sense, doesn't it? However, my approach to find someone like me who could earn 100k a year from this kind of new internet marketing thing was to go to the job center and say, I'm hiring customer support roles, or I'm looking for coders. I'm looking for people who've just learned how to code, really, because coding is still relatively new. And these people have maybe gone to uni, they've got a degree in coding, maybe a bit of web design skills. And these people are going to make me 100k a year each. That was my thinking, my rationale. And to an extent, it worked, because the first few people we hired did get a very good return on investment. So I doubled down and I doubled down and I doubled down. And I ended up signing leases on 2 offices. I ended up hiring 15 people. I went from, I think we were a team of 3 in April or May 2003. And by June 2004, we were 15 people. So very, very quick expansion. And one of the projects we worked on was what I'm going to call a directory. So those of a certain vintage will know the likes of Yahoo and Alta Vista, MSN, all the internet service providers really had this portal. So you'd log onto the internet, you'd go to your homepage where you could do everything. And this was the idea. It was be the one-stop shop where you can get your stock prices, check the weather, find out what the FTSE's done today, plus search for everything, go dating, get the latest news, find out how your sports team got on, everything like that in one portal. And so we were going to build this portal. And we spent a bit of money proving the concept. We didn't prove the concept. We just got something up there and we kept working at it. We kept throwing stuff at it. We kept coding. It never launched. It took us about 18 months to finally get something live. And eventually we earned about 750 quid from this portal. And the portal, we were trying to take on billion-dollar companies from our little office in Plymouth with a handful of people on next to minimum wage. We were never going to succeed in that business. We didn't prove the model. We just kept throwing money at it. We had sunk cost fallacies of, well, we've spent 50 grand, so we just as well spend another 2 grand. And it was always like that carrot or the taxi that's just around the corner. It was always Next month, it'll be all right. Well, once we get this feature working, then it will be earning money. If we can sort this next problem, then we'll sort it. And what we did was we tried to build a huge business from scratch and then launch it. And what I know now and what I would do differently now is I would launch it within a week. I would do it myself. I would code something up which is horrible myself, which looks nasty and it breaks, and let's just get what tech guys now would call a minimum viable product. I didn't know what an MVP was back in 2004. If I had, it could have saved me £250,000. That's how much money I lost on that business. Spent £250,000, mostly on wages, a little bit on tech, but predominantly on wages, salaries, leases, building supplies, everything like that. And yeah, 750 quid return. Biggest mistake I've ever made, but that has stayed with me. And I've probably made my money back because of that negative effect, because that lesson was so painful. It stuck with me to this day, 21 years later. And I never launch anything now without a minimum viable product. Every time I launch a new book, a beta version goes out there first. I get feedback on it. Before I get too much sunk cost, I get it out there with people. Tell me if it's any good. Tell me if it's crap. Tell me if this is rubbish. Because if it is, I will ditch it and move on. That's something I really, really should have done. I hope, dear listener, dear viewer, that you will not make that same mistake of just keep building, and never launching. Get it out there and get that real world feedback.